Okay, we'll go ahead and get started since you guys have to stick around any more than necessary. I realize it's late. I do appreciate you coming. This is our group advising session. I'm Jeremy Terrell. I'm the chair of the professional writing committee in the English department. We've got a couple other faculty, or a few other faculty members here. I'll let them introduce themselves. Part of the reason why we do this is so that you do get some exposure to other faculty members, particularly if that person's teaching class and you're looking at and you have some questions about that or whatever. So if you guys just want to introduce yourselves real quickly.
I'm Lance Cummings. I'm also the internship coordinator.
I'm Tony Atkins, and I just teach here.
I'm Rory Laverty. I teach mostly journalism classes in professional writing.
Amanda Castro, I teach mostly 204.
Okay, and so as I mentioned, there are a couple of reasons why we're doing this kind of format. One, we are introducing a new curriculum next fall. Mostly that's not going to really impact you guys because you're already on your own calendar year, right? Or your own catalog year. So whenever new folks come in, they'll be under a different catalog year. It will change some of the names of the courses. Let's see if I can pull this up for you. There we go. So it will change the names of some of the courses, but the numbers are going to stay the same. So you guys want to just make sure you're sticking with your degree plan and the numbers. So just quickly, just some differences here. This is the new curriculum as it's going to be installed in the fall. You can see, for example, like 314, that's formerly writing and technology. Now it's digital composing. So there are going to be some name changes and some refocusing of those classes. But all the numbers are there, and so those will still pertain to your degree plan. A few other things, we are going to be offering a few more courses, particularly at the 400 level, and you can see some examples of that. We've got the research methods in professional writing, 417, 412, writing in intercultural and global contexts. If your area of interest has to do with intercultural communication, that's going to be available for you. We've got advanced professional writing in 404, that's a topics course, and then writing for the web, which in many ways builds off of digital composing and is focused on web formats. A lot of us are doing a lot more production in those modes anyway, so some of these new courses will be applied to that. Now, for your degree plan, none of those courses will be listed, on your worksheet, but they will still count as writing courses. So if you want to take those, you of course will be able to. We'll probably just have to give you an equivalency or make sure it counts on your degree audit, but that's just some paperwork we have to do. Okay, so that's that. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this as a group advising session now, is to make sure everyone's kind of clear on that, both faculty and students. But we also want to start making more of an initiative to stay in contact with our majors about how our program should be shaped going forward. So incorporating your feedback into the courses we offer and the methods we use to do that. Things like online hybrid courses and how students are utilizing those, and should we be doing more of those, and if so, how should they be supported, that kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, that's the gist of that. The only other thing to point out is you do all still have individual advisors. This does not take the place of your individual advisor in the sense of you can, of course, still make appointments. You'll get your PIN today and everything, so you can enroll. But you still have an individual advisor. You can schedule appointments with that person. And a lot of my consultations with advisees are individuated. They're about what you want to do, what things would make sense for you. So I really encourage you to make use of that. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
And you might be, I guess, I don't know. It sounded like you were headed to being finished with I think one of the important things, you may be about to say it, but that we have all of the courses in the schedule lined up for the next 3 years. What we'll be offering, which is probably something you're about to talk about.
Yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, part of this initiative also is we've been able to plot our course offerings for the next 3 years. We're going to be keeping those updated. So, heretofore it's always been sort of just whatever's next semester, right? So it's a little difficult for you to sort of chart your progress. We've been able to at least get a handle on our major courses in terms of a schedule in the future. That won't be for every English course, but for your major courses, we should have a pretty solid idea of what's going to be taught. That said, and you guys get that email, so did folks check out that schedule on the email I sent? Some nods. Let's see. This is it. Segue. This is the professional writing page here on UNCW, or the English department's portion. I understand UNCW's web presence is tricky to navigate. Here on the English department homepage, it's actually under undergraduate programming and professional writing track, so it is a few clicks. But here, it gives that breakdown that Tony is talking about. So you can see what's going to be offered in the fall and spring semesters for the next 3 years. Summer is not there. Summer, it's very tricky to try and forecast what's going to be offered in the summer. So we're not really able to provide that. But the fall and spring semesters, we are. And you can kind of see the patterns of how these works, right? How these work. For example, the complementary courses that you guys have to take one or the other of, things like 314 and 319, you have to do one of those. You have to take one of 388 or 389. Generally, the way those work, they go one semester and the other semester. Right? So you've got 314, 319, 314, 319, 388, 389, 388, 389. Yeah, it's not there because it's being consolidated. Probably. But that's essentially how the course schedule breaks down. There may be some slight changes because if things happen like, if we have one faculty member who teaches that course and that person goes on research reassignment or family leave or something like that, we may not be able to cover that. In those rare instances, we're going to do everything we can to substitute a course that counts for the same thing on your degree audit. So it may not be exactly the specific course, but it fits in that same category. And hopefully those are going to be very similar. Are there any questions right now? Okay. So yeah, do keep this in mind. This schedule will be here. It is on the professional writing page. As I say, we're going to keep that updated. So next semester's advising will have whatever's after this. What would that be? Fall 2019. So we'll keep that out there. Oh, something else to point out. You guys probably got a mass email yesterday that's for all English students. The summer and fall course descriptions are now up there. So, did you guys ever look at these course descriptions? Anyone look at these?
I do.
Students, some of us do. You may not even be aware that these are here, but here on the English page under undergraduate program and course descriptions, there are textual descriptions of what that class is going to be like. And these go beyond just the calendar, or excuse me, the catalog description, right, which doesn't really tell you much. It'll say concentrated practice in professional writing, and that's everything. So what actually is going to happen in that class? That's here on the undergraduate course descriptions, and these now are available for both summer and fall. Okay, so in terms of plotting out your future, you now have a pretty good roadmap of what's going to be offered. You can just pull up your worksheet here or your degree audit. This is the same information that's on your degree audit. It's a little bit more comprehensible in that your degree audit has everything, and it's got drop downs of the red and green. It's very useful, but it can be a little cryptic. This for your major is really kind of readable. You just have to plug things in here, and you guys should all be on this catalog here, so you can just sort of plug in things as you go. and plot out based on the year roadmap. Okay, fantastic.
I would suggest too that if you're not using the website as much, that you start doing that, because we've done a lot. Well, Jeremy and some of the committee folks have done a lot to try to make the website much more up to date, user friendly, so that you can find what you need online pretty quickly. So I encourage you to do that, especially for course descriptions and things, because I get emails from my own students like, what is that course? I'm like, well, they're right here. And during the summer, it's true that we usually offer a lot of 204s, but there's usually 1 or 2 courses that might help you. For example, I'm offering a 303, which satisfies the requirement. Occasionally there's a 314. Not all the time, but there's usually 1 or 2 that if you're past the 204 mark, you might find 1 or 2 that you could take that might be helpful to you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like the 303 in the summer, I mean, that 303 is always full. If you try to get into 303s.
That's why I decided to offer, because I had a long wait list, and so because it satisfies requirements for you, and it's online, and it's about 5 weeks.
Yeah, so there definitely are some upper division ones in our program this summer.
Is there like a list of those anywhere?
Well, here on the
That's
summer
what we're looking at.
descriptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, undergraduate program course descriptions. And I mean, the issue is that everything's so varied. I mean, honestly, to find anything on our website, I Google for it. Like put UNCW and then professional and course descriptions.
I've got where I'm doing that for other universities too, and I'm getting it really quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, here in the course descriptions in summer, yeah, they're all there, and it gives you a paragraph, a good paragraph about what's going to happen.
Tells you if they're online, credit hours, and all that.
The voice of Becker was saying that the overall year-to-year planning that we did really is encouraging you to think beyond the coming semester and think to yourself, if I'm going to take, if you really want to take 310, 310's only going to be offered in spring. 309's only going to be offered in falls. 314 is only going to be offered in falls, 319 is only going to be offered in spring. So, think about, well, what do I want to do and where do I want to put it? I think a lot of times we're operating semester by semester, which is understandable because, that's what you've got to deal with immediately. But if you don't kind of plot things out, there are things you might miss because honestly, we've cut down on the repetitive nature of course offerings and it isn't any more random, which is good, but it's also more limited, which is going to be problematic. So, and we can also see then if a bunch of people want to take a particular course and it's not going to be offered, maybe we can lobby for another section or something like that. But we kind of also need to know those things. So you should communicate with your advisors about that as well. Like if you're having trouble, fitting things in that you need.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid, to email your advisor and say, hey, I've been trying to get in this class, but it's been closed the last 3 times I've tried to do it. Because if we know that this course is closed and we start getting a lot of emails, we do have an opportunity on occasion to be able to get another section of it open pretty quickly.
Yeah. Or offer
an alternative
next semester or something.
But we don't know if you don't tell us. And it's often, you can tell me to my face in the hall if you want, but it's actually better if you email me.
Yes.
Because then I can forward the emails to powers that be and say, look, here's 7 emails that I've gotten. So 7 people want this course. And then another teacher will say, I got 5 of them. And then sometimes it'll happen.
We are looking at the waiting list, so that's there. But it does help to have a paper trail of emails, essentially. Of people saying, this course is closed and I really need it and it's not going to come up again for another year. That does actually help us. It shows demand, and if we open it up, it means that section fills. Yeah, and related to that, some folks asked about this the last workshop. I know folks have had difficulty. I'm not sure if everyone in here, because a lot of you in my classes, difficulty even getting into 204, and that's the prereq for everything. So how can you take other stuff without 204? We are writing overrides for upper division if it was impossible for you to get into 204. We're also holding back seats for majors in 204, so hopefully that concern is going to be alleviated. But don't if you run into those kinds of issues, don't just hope it'll go away. Go talk to your advisor, and we'll figure something out.
And 204 is definitely one that we offer a couple, 2, 3, 4 of those online every summer, both summer terms. So that's also a good opportunity for you to try to get that course.
Yeah, and in fact, some folks might be in the boat where if you're going to schedule some upper division stuff for the fall, but you need 204 and you haven't had it, there may be a little bit of a wrinkle because, if you're planning to take 204 during the summer and then the upper division in the fall, it's not going to let you enroll for the upper division in the fall because you haven't done 204. So we'll have to give you an override. That's fine, we can do that. I mean, that's kind of the message, is make sure to talk to your advisor. You all do have individual advisors. Part of our job is making sure you guys are on a good path. So, we work together in that. Your part of it is looking at the 3-year plan and being conscientious about when you're going to take stuff. Our part of it is making sure that if you're in a situation, we can address it somehow, an override or something like that. Okay, just a couple other things, then we want to spend the rest of the time making sure you guys get your pins and get your prospective schedules checked. Lance, you're here. Lance is our internship coordinator. I was just hoping you could say a few words about the opportunities for internships. If you guys are thinking about that, it's not required for our majors. It is required for our certificate holders. But it is a really useful experience for everyone. It counts towards your degree, and it's really something that does kind of help you stand apart from other folks. Yeah, sorry, Lance.
Yeah, so if you're a junior or a senior at a certain GPA, I have to look that up. I don't have it memorized, but then you can take an internship. It counts as a class. You get 3 credit hours, and you do 126 hours of writing related work at an internship site, and get 3 credit hours for it, and also really good experience and a collection of work that you can share professionally when you apply for jobs and things like that. There's also a good opportunity to explore different ways you can apply your professional writing degree, which is actually very diverse. This semester I'm actually amazed at the great work a lot of the students are doing. We've got people doing PR work for like nonprofits, like social media, blog posts, doing legal work with the district's attorney's office, writing articles for Star News, doing copy editing. So pick about anything that you love about professional writing, and we could probably find an internship for you that you can really focus on that aspect. So if you're interested, you can go to the English website. Yes, there's internships is at the top level there. It gives you a little information, the requirements, and then there's an online application a little bit down there. Yeah, under I applied today. It's just a real quick application to get a sense of what kind of interest you have, and then I'll contact you for a one meeting where we would decide where you might like to intern. So. If you're interested, I would go ahead and do that this week.
And we're concentrating those in the fall and spring. So
yes.
Yeah. Yes. The information here.
So this would be for fall that we would be applying. You'd be applying.
And then just 1 or 2 other things. The 496 coming up in the fall. The instructor for that, Don, he was in the previous one. Just be aware that those descriptions are up here because, we all have to take a 496, but the topic of that changes every time. So if you're scheduled for your 496, this is what's going to be offered here. This is on the course description stuff. Tony mentioned just doing a 303 in the summer, right? Are there any other courses that anyone's doing that would benefit from this vacation? I think so. Anything themed or?
Well, I mean, well, I'm teaching 496 this semester in social media, but I'm likely to offer something similar next year, possibly, or the year after.
We have one each semester, right?
Yeah,
So,
there's
we
a
have that.
496 every semester.
Good.
Okay, well, that's the gist of that. Who has questions? And I point out that any question you have, probably 2 or 3 other people also have. Who has questions for this stuff? Yeah.
For like the internship stuff, do you have to be like a junior when you apply? Like since like after the semester, I'll be a junior next year. So like if I'm applying for the fall, I have to wait till I'm actually a junior to apply.
I believe you just have to be a junior when you're an intern. Is that right?
Correct.
And the one thing, the other thing we look at is how many 300 level writing courses. You have to have 9 credit hours and 300 level writing courses. So that'd be like if you're under a junior, that would probably be like if you're just becoming a junior, that would be the other factor that you might want to check.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the internships, is it too late to do a summer or summer?
We're keeping them in the fall and the spring right now. That way we can keep offering them to everybody every year. So another reason to kind of try to plan that into your schedule.
Other questions, folks? Okay, that's fine. As I mentioned, you do have an individual advisor, so do make sure to keep in contact with him or her, because they'll have individual information about your particular situation. So what we'll do is we have your enrollment pins and everything. We're going to give them to the faculty in here. You can just check with one of us. We'll just go through your prospective schedule, look at what's coming up, and then we can give you your pin and your times on here as well. Okay?
And if you are one of my particular advisees, sometimes I don't know who you are if you don't have classes with me. So make sure that you come to me and say hello if I know who you are.
And be sure to grab a cookie. Okay, so the rest of the time we'll just do individual checks. Thank you.
Good, right?